Hey guys, how's it going? Um, it's a really wet day today. I don't know if you can hear the rainfall outside, but I thought it's a good chance to stay indoors and talk about one of my passions in life, right, which is right, watches, um, you know, and specifically Rolex watches. Um, Rolex is quite an anomaly. Right? They are quite. I don't know how to explain. They just have this allure to them. People just lust over them. They love them, and at times it can be a victim of its own success. People who start getting into wristwatches. Everybody knows Rolex, right? So they pick up a Rolex and then they decide, hey, there are brands other than Rolex and perhaps better than Rolex, and I want to try something different, be a little different, express my individuality, and let's try other brands. Right? You can go into, and then you go into haute horology, right? You go into brands like JLC, and then you got Patek, Vacheron, AP, maybe Alanga. And then once you've experienced all of that, you realize, hey, shit, what I really want is just a solid, well-made, elegant, beautiful, versatile, recognized, serviceable timepiece. And then you go back to rediscovering Rolex, and that has been my journey with the brand, and therefore I've decided to make it the core, right, the foundation of my watch collection. And to me, I think these are the six best pieces in the Rolex lineup. I just want to start by saying I'll give you the order as to my acquisitions of these watches. I first acquired the Rolex Explorer 2, beautiful watch, made a review on that, followed by the Submariner 14060M, another beautiful, elegant watch, and then followed by the GMT Master 2. I then wanted, and by which time I was already kind of thinking about getting the Daytona, but I just could not, at the time, I just could not bring myself to spend, upwards of $10,000 to get the Daytona. So I wanted a blue dial Rolex, right, which wasn't right the ones that I already had. And then, I decided on the Rolex Milgauss Z Blue, it is just such a funky watch, really cool, really fun, it's just so refreshing, right? It's so refreshing in this lineup of really serious Rolex watches. After the Milgauss, I got I finally decided, hey, I love chronographs, I love Rolex, and there's only one Rolex chronograph, and this guy came along, the Rolex Daytona 116520. Beautiful watch. Is it overpriced? Well, based on the supply, the market dictates its value, right? It's highly desirable, highly sought after, limited production. Now it's been discontinued, right? Superseded by the ceramic Daytona, which is through the roof. But I just wanted my Rolex collection to be a non-ceramic Rolex collection, and there we go, right? Steel bezel. And then this is my latest Rolex acquisition. Did not intend to get this at all. Did not plan to get this, but one just came up in the market locally. Someone was selling at a pretty, at a really attractive price that I kind of had to jump on it, because I knew I could always get my money back based on the price that I paid, and then some. Right, I'm definitely in the money for this. Bought this brand new. This one was bought brand new. The rest were all pre-owned, secondhand. That being said, my thoughts on Rolex. Well, what can I say? Rolex is Rolex. They are fantastic watches, built to last. They're tanks. Investment potential. Well, I wouldn't say they are huge investments. More so, they are stores of wealth, right? The reason why I don't like to consider them as investments is because you are paying quite a substantial amount to get into it. The monetary return of these watches is not very much. What you get in return is the pleasure of owning these pieces, touching these pieces, wearing these pieces, talking about it, and I guess creating videos mainly for myself, right? I guess this is like a bit of an auto, sometimes you just want to document things in your life, and I really love watches, and I really love Rolex. Anyway, I decided on going on these non-ceramic models because I feel that they're probably some of them are pretty good, good value, right? Especially the Explorer 2, I feel that these are highly undervalued. Whereas the rest are, they're expensive. What can I say? But you get them pre-owned, you get your money back, right? These are blue chip investments, beautiful watches. Yeah, I guess now that we're talking about Rolex, let's talk a little bit about vintage Rolex. I mean, vintage Rolexes are through the roof. They're so expensive. I never get into vintage Rolexes simply because, firstly, of the price. Secondly, I mean, over the years, right? They've been around for so long. A lot of them have been replaced with aftermarket parts, dials. I mean, I'm a watch enthusiast, but I would never proclaim that I'm an expert in Rolexes. But I know that I don't know enough about vintage Rolexes, especially when it comes to the dial or what dial should be in which case and which time period. Right? All this gilt stuff and long E-rail dial. I mean, I'm not that interested in that anyway. I think that's a little bit too. It's a little too anal for me, Sometimes with the vintage Rolex, in the vintage Rolex world, people get so anal about such minor details, and I understand why. Because it costs so much money, right? They have to be absolutely 100% sure that everything is original, everything is factory, everything is right, and then it becomes stressful, I find. Right? I think vintage Rolexes are a little bit too stressful for me. At least with the sapphire models, they haven't been messed around too much. They're very sturdy. That being said, I have never. Well, actually, I have owned a vintage Rolex. I had a vintage Datejust. I mean, it's nowhere near the same pedigree as a vintage Submariner GMT, but you know, the build quality is similar, right? It would be the same from the 70s, and I just felt that it was a little bit too. I just didn't have the same confidence when it came to like water resistance. I also own a vintage Tudor big block, and I sold it because, you know, during winter time, you know, sometimes I do a lot of canoeing in the winter, and it would kind of fog up in the crystal. It wasn't water damage, but you know, that's just kind of hard to see, right? And I just had a lot of problems with that vintage Tudor. And that being said, right, you know, I wouldn't feel comfortable taking a vintage Rolex to the beach to go swimming, to do canoeing, right? It's just I wouldn't, and it kind of defeats the purpose of having a Rolex, right? Is to be able to have that confidence to do whatever you want to do, and know that the watch will not give out on you. So that's why I kind of stay away from vintage Rolexes. I just don't have the stomach for it, and I don't have the money for it. Right. So yeah, modern. And so let's talk about modern Rolexes. Yeah, I love the modern Rolexes. Right. I've done a review on the Batman and the Sea Dweller 4000, fantastic watches. But you know, I just think they're a little bit chunky, but beautiful. Hey, you know, they're great too. I like those watches, right? They're not as chunky as the Submariner, which is why I chose the Batman and the Sea Dweller for my family, as part of my family heirlooms, because I think those two are the best looking, most unique, and well, interesting modern Rolexes. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on Rolex. You know, fantastic brand. I totally encourage people to get into it. Right, don't be so taken in by the hype. Right, there's a lot of marketing nonsense that goes on. Just enjoy the watch for what it is. Right, it's a well built machine. Right, try, you know, if you own one, try not to be too pretentious about it. Don't flaunt it around. You know, just take it as it is, right? It's nothing. I mean, it is special, but it's nothing. It's nothing beyond, you know, under comprehension and understanding, right? Just take it for what it is. Be a responsible Rolex wearer, responsible Rolex owner, right? It is a bit of bling, but you don't need to rub it into people's faces. Just enjoy it for what it is, right? Don't, you know, don't show it off, and you won't get into trouble wearing the Rolex, right? I've worn these for years, and not many people in my circle has pointed out that I was wearing a Rolex. Maybe a couple here and there, and usually those who know, right, they kind of, they're watch enthusiasts themselves, and they strike up a good conversation. Right, so yeah, wear a Rolex, right? I strongly encourage people who are thinking about getting one, just get it. Don't you know, don't feel that you're not don't feel intimidated by wearing a Rolex, because it is quite a liberating experience. All right. Anyway, just my thoughts and opinions on the brand and the watch itself. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.